Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. The world is in shambles. This global pandemic has put everything and everyone at a standstill. Not only that, but markets are in terrible shape. The economy's in terrible shape. So banks have no other option than to throw money into the economy to try to keep everything somewhat afloat. But there's one problem about that. We don't have money to throw into the economy. This is dangerous, especially for one country. That's the United States, which is the world's reserve currency. But if other countries start to realize that we're broke, then you can see where the problem lies, especially since the dollar isn't based off of anything but purely faith, purely speculation. See, the dollar's only worth as much as people think it is. So if people start to think it's not worth much, then it won't be worth much. See, this is going to be interesting, especially in the coming weeks and months, because not only is this happening, but we also have the 2020 presidential election. So if silver prices are low right now, in your eyes, and I'm going to say from your point of view, because they're really not. Look at this 3-month chart. Not even 3 months ago, silver was sitting around $17. Now it's up to nearly 28, 27. So not only is all this happening, but prices are going to be extremely explosive under these conditions, under the chaos, the controversy that's about to be happening. So before we dive deeper into this video, I want to say, check out my merch store. If you love precious metals, if you want to share your passion and look fashionable, look good doing it, check out my merch store. Link in the description. I have some new stuff that just launched. It looks really good. I'm excited about this. I worked hard on it. So yeah, go support the channel. So the link to this article is in the description. It's investingnews.com, talking about how low the silver price could go. And it's an interesting discussion. Very interesting, because the markets are much different than once upon a time, right? The markets are affected by different things. The markets move at different rates. There's so many different things happening nowadays that wouldn't affect the markets to the same degree. So we have to adjust and adapt and also figure out what these things are. So this is going to dive deep into the real price, the real fundamentals of silver pricing. And I think it's going to be fun and interesting and educational. So let's jump right into it. So what's the lowest silver price possible? Experts weigh in on the minimum price for the white metal given its varied uses. See, the interesting thing about this, and I'm probably going to pause a lot during this video and share a side note or share my opinion or perspective on something. But right off the rip, I like how they separated silver from gold. See, the white metal, silver, has varied uses where gold really doesn't. Gold is a monetary metal, silver is a monetary metal, but gold isn't an industrial metal, silver is. So where technology shines, where the economy flourishes from a technologically advanced era, silver is going to also perform and benefit from that, where gold won't. So silver is a win-win situation. When the economy's in bad shape, gold and silver thrive. When the economy's in good shape, only silver thrives. Gold doesn't thrive when the economy's in good shape because people aren't trying to preserve their wealth into a safe haven asset when they already feel safe. See where I'm going with that? But since silver's a highly conductive metal, it's intertwined in everything, especially as, you know, the economy grows, as 5G, you know, Tesla, as all these solar panels and everything going along. Silver's definitely intertwined in all that, so it still performs well. So the silver price has displayed volatility for much of 2020 in the back of this pandemic. Market uncertainty has broadly benefited the precious metal, and as of mid-year it had added even more than 50% to its value since January. Along with that turmoil, increased interest in physical silver and exchange-traded funds has pushed the white metal to prices unseen since 2007. Silver is now around $30 per ounce, and For investors looking for an edge, it's becoming increasingly important to understand how the price moved this high and where it could go in a reversal. So with that in mind, the Investing News Network spoke with experts to gauge the intrinsic value of silver and how its price could go before it's uneconomical to produce. Read to learn what they said. So this is going to be interesting, not only because it's going to show some different angles, some different points of where silver's prices are affected, but this also isn't really a bullish. This company, this site, they're not specifically or solely trying to push or talk about precious metals. So it's almost like a third party point of view, so I can dissect it to see where they're coming from and see if I agree. So it's really going to be interesting once we get into the meat and potatoes of this. So over that 20-year period, the white metal has had two bull runs, right? That's obvious. The 1980 and 2011 from the 2008 credit crisis. So that was the longest bull run in silver's history was the 2011 run. Although economic uncertainty was a driver behind that price rise, the proliferation of solar panels and photovoltaics in the early 2000s also contributed to the white metal's ascent, which is definitely true, right? There's colloidal silver for the medical world, right? There's silver nanoparticles, which are in photovoltaic cells, which is also silver. So there's many different reasons why silver demand will be pushing from new companies. The technology used in solar panels has been around since the 1970s, but the growth exhibited in the 2000s was propelled by government incentives, and that's something that Philip Newman pointed out. It was because of the environmental legislation that suddenly favored green technology, and really PV became suddenly commercial vibe. And that's especially true with Joe Biden trying to go green, a green revolution, everything, solar panels. Silver's going to thrive from that. Newman also noted that prior to this year's upheaval, many countries plan to integrate new solar capacity through fresh installations. While these projects have been delayed, they are not canceled. Individuals' desire to install solar panels is also a driver, according to silver analyst David Morgan. So I definitely get where they're coming from. I definitely agree where they're coming from. Silver demand is going to be coming from that. I also agree with the next part where they're talking about the 5G technology. That's going to be huge. 5G towers are in everything. So if you're looking at all this and you're looking at the reality of it, looking forwards, looking where green technology or green energy, the green revolution is going to be happening in the next coming years, 5G is going to be growing in the next couple years, then you should see that silver is going to be exploding. The demand for silver is going to keep rising regardless of if everyday investors buy it or not. Big business companies need it. So if there's a falling supply, a shortening supply, as miners literally just don't dig up silver because it's not profitable, all the silver is going to be bought up. You know, silver is going to be scarce, and that's when the producer turns into the consumer and vice versa. So the implementation of 5G technology is another end use that will push silver demand higher. So 5G is going to take, in theory, 80 million ounces of silver. Now, that's not totally true because not everyone's going to get a 5G phone. Some of the silver that's in phones will be recycled, but is an increased demand. So, and another cool thing to think about is, or an interesting thing to think about at least, is since a lot of gold is remelted, recycled, reused, rescrapped, there's a lot more in circulation, especially when it's dug up out the ground. It goes into technology, into coins, bars, jewelry, earrings, necklaces, rings, and it's recycled because people will sell them when they don't need it anymore because it's profitable to do so. Silver, on the other hand, isn't profitable to do that. You're not going to go to the pawn shop and try to pawn or sell a silver necklace. You'll get a couple dollars for it. No one's scrapping silver out of a laptop or a cell phone. You'll get a couple pennies for it. But since gold is so much more valuable, a lot of it is saved, where a lot of silver is thrown away, lost in technology, never to be claimed again. So the circulating supply of gold is actually much stronger and lasts longer than silver. So let's talk about peak production. Moving away from demand, the amount of silver available also contributes to price action. Total annual output is projected to increase year on year by 11% in 2021. That's 68 million ounces. That's going to be interesting, especially when I look at the mining numbers, how the last 7 years we've cut back silver production from hundreds of millions of ounces. This is a danger zone. So, Metals Focus anticipates annual output will top 912 million ounces in 2023, a record-setting level. So, this is definitely probably going to be the most influential thing for silver if it does explode beyond the presidential election, right? Because low supply, high demand shoots the price up. We have an increasingly, a rapidly rising demand, but the supply is still diminishing. And especially if these numbers are going to go through, which it seems that they will, it's going to be really interesting because miners don't care about the consequences. Miners know that we need silver, but they don't care if it's not going to put money in their pocket. They're not going to dig it up. You know that silver is found by accident. There is no silver focused mines. Silver is found as a byproduct. A byproduct means when they're digging up gold, lead, zinc, if they find some silver on the side, they'll take it, but they're not looking for it because it's not profitable. They would rather waste their time or use their time finding gold, which is 72 times more valuable than silver. I mean, it makes sense from a business point, but if you're looking at a literal point or looking at the consequences, you know, it's going to get a sticky situation is going to happen fast. And we're starting to see the beginning of that already. U.S. Mint ran out of silver eagles. There was a silver shortage earlier this year. So let's dive into some other stuff. So lowest silver price, mine supply, and production costs. So looking further at supply of the white metal, another key aspect in understanding how low the silver price could go is the cost of production, which is definitely true. Especially since there's a global pandemic on our hands, things are going to get more interesting. There's not as many workers, more work restrictions, less of everything, less transportation time. You know, everything is affected and everything is pushed back, more slow, right? So now, not only is silver falling from supply because no one's digging it up, but even the supply that is being found is coming into the economy, coming around the world at a much slower pace. So demand isn't slowing down, the rapidly rising demand isn't slowing down, but the production of silver still is, especially with countries like Mexico and Peru. They accumulate 40% of the global silver production, and they were hit hard with the pandemic. So a lot of silver that should have been going into the world is not there. At what cost, right? What the real price? The whole point of this video is to showcase not what silver's price is right now, but where it's going to be, where it's headed. If you're investing into anything, you don't look at the value of that thing at its current condition. You look at the potential. I'm looking at silver not at the current price. I'm looking at where the price is going to go, and everything lines up. Everything makes sense that the price is going to go higher, right? Just like if you're going to buy a house, you look at real estate. You know, you're going to buy a rental property, and you know you're going to sell that house in 10 years or whatever. You're looking around the neighborhood. Are they buying schools or tearing schools down? Are they building shopping centers or tearing them down? Because once there's shopping centers and schools, school districts, the property value of that house in 10 years is going to extremely go up, or it can go extremely down, and that's from you planning ahead. That's from you looking at the potential. Same thing goes for precious metals. So let's kind of summarize this up. Generally speaking, when you're looking at the cost, you tend to look at the 90th percentile. If the price of silver is above that 90 percentile, that would incentivize high-cost operations to come online. If the price drops below that 90 percentile, generally it would mean that some mines will close. So in Q1 2020, the 90th percentile was around $19, added the director of mine supply. He also noted at current prices, nothing's going to close. The price would need to come down below probably around $19 per ounce for production to come offline. So that's definitely not going to happen. I don't think we're ever going to see $10 silver, meaning like we're never going to see $19 silver anymore. We could get to low 20s, and that's going to be from the slight correction. Let's look at the 1 week. So yeah, I mean, this is 26.50 and that's 28.25. So from a day-to-day standpoint, the price could drop a couple dollars or rise a couple dollars, but you got to remember the bigger picture, right? Let's look at the year today. The bigger picture is much larger than this day-to-day focus. If you're looking at the markets every single day, you're going to drive yourself insane. That's not the right way to invest. You're going to get too emotionally attached, especially if you're not planning on selling for several years down the line. Like, I'm not planning on selling for 15, 20 years, so why in the world am I so concerned about the day-to-day prices, right? You still need to pay attention to what's happening, especially if you are looking to get in somewhere, buy a little bit, but when it comes to the bigger picture, take your time, relax. The markets aren't going anywhere. Silver prices aren't going anywhere extremely fast, right? You have time. Be patient. So anyways, thanks for tuning into this video. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least just entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Also, check out my merch store, link in the description. I definitely like this one. My favorite, not only does it have the $100 bill in the front, on the back it also says fake, exposing the true value of the dollar. You know I love doing that. So if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash that like button. The link to this article will be in the description. Thank you for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.